Hey, welcome back in. It is The Scoop, another episode here on a Tuesday. I'm sorry, I was back on vacation. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. But we are so back. We actually had off-season news that hit us hard. Pause. Blake Snell signed to a 5-year deal. That happened within the last time we saw. A couple other pitchers sign, including today. We even saw one old head sign. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into it. We'll update the team's tier list, and we're going to go over an article as well. And that'll be today's pod. Thank you very much for joining me. Sam Napoli here with you. This is a Century Baseball podcast here on The Scoop. You can find us everywhere. YouTube. I guess it's called X now. Instagram. I think there's TikToks. I mean, it's everywhere. So make sure you guys are following wherever you consume and however you consume your content. Thank you very much for being here with us today. The first thing we're going to be going over is the moves that happened from the 26th of November, so that's 8 days ago. Excuse me. Up until now, we haven't gone over anything, so we will go ahead and get into all of that right now as soon as I pull up another tab. Okay. So the first thing we're going to go over is the moves that did happen. The Mets made a few. Really one that's big, but we'll start with Blake Snell. Signs the 5-year deal, goes to the Dodgers. Do I love the fit? No, they have so much starting pitching already. Like, I understand where they're coming from. They always go out and get somebody, but it's almost like they're banking on injuries happening, which just doesn't feel like a great way to to believe in your team, if you know what I mean. I mean, they had a whole rotation on the IL last year. Shohei's coming back. They're going to have a 6-man rotation, and Tony Gonsolin's going to be like their 6th. They've got a guy. I mean, Dustin May hasn't been able to stay healthy, but when he is, he's gross. That's not really even including Kershaw. I mean, there's so much starting pitching on this team already that I don't know. I don't know if the Blake Snell is a huge fit. He got a bag, by the way. Finally gets the money he deserves annually. No one wanted to give him this last year, even though he was coming off a Cy Young. It just didn't feel real. Didn't feel like he'd be able to sustain it. He comes out, no spring training, has a really nice year for the Giants. Now he's on his 3rd NL West team, funny enough. I thought the Padres were going to come in, swoop him up. Apparently the Yankees were in strong pursuit of him. That's who I actually had in my predictions videos. I said Yankees for Blake Snell. He goes to the Dodgers, to the champs. And yeah, I don't know. I don't see the fit a whole lot. I don't know. Can you always use starting pitching? Sure. That's a high-end starting pitcher. And where are you going to put guys now? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get to a point where, are we going to see Shohei start closing games? Like, are they going to put him in the bullpen? That'd be electric, by the way. And maybe for his health long term, maybe that's the move, is to put Shohei as the closer or in the bullpen. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird move. It's not a huge fit for me. People seem to think that they needed starting pitching. I just really didn't. I don't know. Besides the fact they've got so many young guys, he'll be great for them. There's no doubt about it. High end, we know he can be a Cy Young. He's done it twice. So Blake Snell to the Dodgers, 5-year deal. They defer a ton of money, which makes me think. I saw a tweet from. Let me give credit to the right person because it was so funny. Oh man, you know, because people are really upset about all these deferred payments. Which, like, why would you be? I don't understand. Like, anyone can do that. It just happens to be the Dodgers have over $1 billion deferred. Fact Sports MLB. It's a super funny account. Love it. Breaking. The Dodgers are signing Jesus Christ. I don't know why they put a number value on it. I know that's not really super great. Why are we putting money value on Jesus? But $12 billion deal for eternity with payment deferred to Judgment Day. And it says, we thought we'd get a head start on Christmas shopping, manager Dave Roberts said. Jesus will play every position. I don't know. Stuff like that cracks me up. You know me. Old head. Anyway. Yeah, let's move on. The next big thing that happens to be with the Dodgers as well. They extend Tommy Edman. I thought this was coming for him. Did not think to the extent that he got. He gets a 5-year deal. So he will be in LA for a long time. They found something in him, especially in the playoffs. But even when he got there, he instantly became a better player. He wasn't a bad player with the Cardinals. It was just more like the offensive profile wasn't great. He was very expendable, especially now he's had some service time under him. I think it's smart of the Dodgers, especially if, I know they're spending money left and right, whatever. He feels like a pretty good long-term solution because he's the kind of player they kind of need. Scrappy, good contact, Gold Glover, steals bases. Like it's kind of a contrast to most of the players on their team. And he'll play shortstop for them. Gavin Lux didn't work out. You're moving Mookie Betts back to the outfield, thank God. Or he already did, I guess. But regardless, Tommy Edman's a great fit. If he was a free agent, I would have very much liked the Phillies to go after him, not just because of his postseason performance, but I would say, like, given him on a 1 or 2 year deal, at very worst, he's a great bench piece. They gave him 5 years, 5 for like 75, which makes me think that they gave him more years to lessen the AAV, which means his agent was cooking him up a $20+ million per year deal, which is absurd. WAR loves him. He's a Gold Glover. Of course it's going to love him, but that's a lot of money. I don't know if he's earned that. Sure, he helped win a World Series, but I don't know, that happens every year, you know what I mean? Why didn't Jonah Heim get a bag if that's what gets you, you know what I mean? It's a weird one. Dodgers have money to spend, whatever. Though he'll probably be a top 10 player in baseball by next year. Who knows? Anyway, the next big thing that happened, and this one, speaking of Jonah Heim, this is really the only reason I said his name. Higashioka goes on a 2-year deal to the Rangers. Higashioka had the power stroke last year for the Padres. Ended up turning in a really solid year. Let me just pull up his baseball reference. And he's going to go to Texas, where Jonah Heim is there. He just had a pretty, let's call it a pretty putrid year. 17 home runs for Higashioka last year, by the way. Pretty decent offensive profile. Jonah Heim, I want to say he had the lowest OPS out of qualified hitters. I want to say that's what the stat was, which, by the way, he's from here in Buffalo. Love the guy. He's awesome. But yeah, really, 2023, he had an awesome year, right? 2024, though, it didn't go so hot. 602 OPS. I want to say for people, I want to say that as qualified hitters, is one of the worst. But yeah, 2023, 755 OPS, 18 homers, 95 RBI, so he's run producer. But this year, it just didn't happen for him. It wasn't walking. He didn't really strike out like a ton, to be honest. Just weak contact, it looks like. And he was a Gold Glover in 2023 too, and that wasn't even there for him this year. They bring in Higashioka. It's a pretty good tandem. As far as tandems go, it's probably one of the better ones you're going to see. Other guys are getting older. Higashioka is no young gun himself. He's a late bloomer anyway, but excuse me. Yeah, 2-year deal. The 2-year deal is really what gave it away to me. Like, are they trying to move off of Heim? Or are they trying to go in a different direction? Higashioka's 35 at this point, so it's like, it's not like they're replacing him, but it's an interesting move to say the least, because Higashioka should get 90, 100 games behind the plate, probably. Because, he gives you above average for a catcher offensive stats for sure. Jonah Heim, you got to bank on him giving some kind of bounce back for you. At least you hope. So, we'll move off of that one for now. Montas goes to the 2-year deal with the Mets. That's the big one for them. They're trying to open the door to probably getting Soto. They needed to bring in someone like this, because I doubt they bring back Manaea. His price tag is going to be high, and I don't know if the Mets want to pay him. I know they have all the money in the world, but they are becoming a smarter organization. The fact that they're going to start spending money in the right places. Montas probably on the 2-year deal is a better fit for them. For the money, I want to say it's 2 for 34. I believe he turned down the qualifying offer, so he didn't want the 1 year. He gets himself a second year at 17, and I mean, coming off the year, he had a 4.5 ERA, so it's not like he's lighting up the world. Ever since he got hurt when he was with the Yankees, really hasn't really been the same. He's been okay. I don't know, like starting pitching at that price, it's kind of similar to like a Taijuan Walker deal when it happened. It's like he's putting up similar type of numbers. Walker got more years because that's what the Phillies gave him. The Mets go ahead and give him 2. He's 32 years old. We'll see if he turns in something this coming year, because we've seen it in the past. He can be just fine. So Montas to the Mets. They need to get an ace for sure. They need to be in talks with Burns. Like Corbin Burns would be such a great fit for them. I feel like that feels like one that's going to happen more than something else, like a Max Fried or something like that. I feel Corbin Burns going there. We'll see if that happens. Giants have been heavily pursuing him. Speaking of the Giants, we'll talk about them in a little bit when we get to the article we're going to go over today. And the last thing that happened was Aroldis Chapman goes to the Red Sox. It's pretty ironic. I don't think he's a good fit for Fenway at all. Like, at all. Lefty, power pitcher who still throws hard, yeah, but I mean, kid can get taken out. Kid, yeah, sure. He could get taken out of the park at any time. He's 37. He's getting old. I get they wanted bullpen help. I don't know if Aroldis was the way to go. Like, it was fine. But, I mean, he's prone to the long ball, and you've got that park. I don't know, dude. I don't know if that's your fit for Chapman. The walks, too. I don't love it. That's just me personally. I haven't really seen what other people are saying about it. I don't love the fit at all whatsoever. He put together a pretty decent season for the Pirates last year, though. That's all that's happened so far. Not really any other trades. Last week we talked about the India trade. But yeah, that's what we got going on in free agency. We'll go ahead and we'll get over to the tier list, which is saved this time, finally. So we can just go through each tier. We can decide if we want to change anything about it or not. When it comes, bottom tier, those 3 teams are staying there. Marlins, Rockies, White Sox, the 3 worst teams. It's all going to be, do we want to put someone lower than them, like someone down there with them as well? The Angels have made improvements. I don't want to put them down there. I think the Pirates roster is fine enough to keep them in this tier. Nationals have good young talent. If anything, it's, do we want to put the A's down in the bottom tier? And I'm kind of leaning, yeah. I feel like I talked about them a little bit last time. And I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to put them down tier. Because I don't know what I was seeing last week. I don't think it should be in meh. I know they finished above the Angels, but the Angels have made improvements, and I'm happy for that one. Oh, man. It feels like one of these teams in good has to be bumped down. It also feels like there's a pretty considerable gap between Brewers, Mets, Tigers, and some of these teams, which makes me think I'm overrating a couple of teams. Mariners, I think, can go in mid. I think for sure. I know their rotation is great, but until they grab another hitter, another bat somewhere in there, I think we keep them down. I think we knock them down. I think I knock the Cubs down too. I know their roster's great. They're probably going to move off of somebody. I don't know. There's too much of a gap between some of these teams. Like Diamondbacks, I know their roster is good, which is kind of all we have to go off of right now, but I don't know. I think we keep them there. Rangers roster is really good, and they're so close to they're so close to winning the World Series like they were just last year. I'm saying like they're not far removed from winning the World Series is what I meant to say. So I think we keep them. Other than that, there's nothing that's going to be changing here on top. Dodgers can be the only elite. They get better since we talked last, so keep them there. And the rest of these teams deserve to be here as well. So, yeah. Nothing more changing there. Let's go ahead and let's talk about an article for a little bit. Century Baseball merchandise is available now. Click the link in the description to get yours today. CBS Sports article. Let me give credit to the writer, Matt Snyder. I'll put the article in the description, obviously. Juan Soto free agency rating, top 10 teams, my best fit for Superstar Slugger. I'm going to give my thoughts. We're going to read over it a little bit. But, yeah, 10 teams. I'm going to say how likely it is and if there's a good fit. Mariners, obviously, there's a good fit. How likely is it? I'm saying not very much. This is a team that goes to the margins. I talked about this a little bit last time. They go to the margins. They make trades. They're not really a free agency type of team. Even you look at the biggest players on their team like Luis Castillo. How did they acquire him? They traded for him. They don't really go in free agency. Randy Arozarena, that's a trade. They don't really go to free agency for this kind of stuff. They're going to trade for someone, and I know that, it would be such a great fit. But besides the fact the ball kind of goes to die there, like it's hard to bring people in. Not very likely at all. I know it's a fit. I'm going to pretty much give it no chance. We've had to demote them a few spots. Consideration from Soto's point of view. Mariners play in Extreme Pitchers Park. Yep, that's exactly how it is. Let's go to the next one. Giants is another one where I love the fit. They've been looking for a superstar for so long. I know the Correa thing fell through. Their free agency last year didn't help. Judge, you can go on and on. They reportedly don't have a ton of extra payroll room this offseason, but they could make Soto fit financially, of course, because who wouldn't? Buster Posey now is their president of baseball operations. He knows how to make a team. He's been part of World Series teams, you know what I mean? Yastrzemski's kind of washed. It was a good story for his first year. He hasn't really been anything since then. So left field is obviously a need. Left, or I should say, they'd probably stick him in right just because that's a lot easier to defend at Oracle. How likely is it to happen? Like, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, I think there's a pretty big difference between Mariners and Giants. Like, I'd be like, okay, like, that's pretty surprising, but it's not like, oh, this is not going to happen. Like 5%, I give him something like that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be totally shocked, is what I'm trying to say. Red Sox, with all the buzz you've been hearing recently, you'd think this is kind of likely. The fit's there, sure. They'd probably trade Jarren Duran. They have 2 stars atop the lineup, Jarren Duran and Rafael Devers. They'd probably trade Jarren Duran because they've got, what's his name, Blaze Alexander. They've got a couple of guys coming up in the system. You got Sedan Rafaela, who I think is playing center field now. They would have to trade someone to get off for Soto to come in, because I don't know if the hole is there. But it's the Red Sox. They want Soto, of course. Who doesn't? And of course, yeah, his fit in Fenway Park is great. Right field line, sure. It'd be a bonus. It takes him away from the Yankees. Yeah, addition by subtraction, as they say. Yeah. They're so left-handed in the lineup. That's the thing. It's like the fit's not super there with the Red Sox, but you're hearing so much buzz about it. They'd probably trade someone or 2 people if it happens. Yeah. Dodgers, they spend money. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. Yeah, would it make it better? Sure. It would just be like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it'd just be like, why? You didn't need him. You know what I mean? We'll move to the Blue Jays. Blue Jays is a weird fit. I don't think that they're going to get him. I know that they have the money to spend, but it's Canada. You got to think about that, dude. Like, Juan Soto is becoming one of America's biggest superstars, and he just moved to a different country. Like, I don't know if that's really in his plans. I don't think he's going to be a big fan of that. It would help with them getting back Vlad Jr., because I don't think Vlad Jr. is going to sign until they give him another superstar to play alongside. So, yeah, we know what happened with Ohtani last year, so I don't think this one's very likely at all. So this one's the most fun one. I love this. Like, if he went back to the Nationals, that'd be the coolest thing. I would love that so much, especially to go with, like, this new Nationals team. I haven't heard anything about them being in the mix. It'd be awesome, especially with who they've got now. Such a young core. Wood, Cruz, Abrams, sure. Luis Garcia, yeah, he's also a dog. I love that guy. It'd be awesome for him to go back. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I would love for it to, even as a Phillies fan. Like, that'd be so cool. Imagine that. Like, Soto's back on the team that, like, all these people came from. James Wood, CJ Abrams came from that trade for him. Sure, that'd be so cool. Phillies, I think it's more likely than people think. It's a great fit. He'd probably play left field for the Phillies. He's got so many former teammates on this team that it makes a lot of sense, especially if they're trying to move off of Brandon Marsh too. It makes a lot of sense. And they had all that money invested in them. They're meeting with him, or they did meet with him. I think there's definitely a possibility that this one happens. Homer, whatever. I don't really care. Orioles is a weird one. This is definitely not going to happen because they've got so much young position player talent that they just need to go out and spend this money on pitching for the long term. Max Fried, get back Corbin Burns, stuff like that. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one because, no, it's not happening. I'm so sorry. Mets, definitely could happen. If Juan Soto wants the most money, then he will sign with the New York Mets. If that's not the only thing that matters to him, then he'll sign somewhere else because the Mets are going to offer him the most money. 700 plus mil, probably. If that's not what he wants, and he's more concerned about, I want to win now or I want to win later, then it's probably not going to be the team he goes to. You know what I mean? The fit is there. They would convert guys like Taylor to platoon. Starling Marte, I think, is on the books for one more year now. Nimmo, you still got for a few years at least. I think 4 more, maybe 5 more. If Pete leaves, sure, it opens something up. I like the Mets to get Bregman or something like that more, though, especially if they can move Vientos to first, let Pete walk, bring in a Bregman. It's a better fit. I like that for them more. Very likely it happens. Yeah, just because of the money aspect of it. The lineup would be silly. And then the Yankees, probably the most likely. Like, it depends on if he liked it there this year. He's not going to get offered the most money by the Yankees. I don't know if Steinbrenner's got it in him to spend all that money again. Like, that'd be a third huge contract. Fourth huge contract with Giancarlo's that they took on too. It's a lot of money to be paying, especially if they didn't win with him this year. You know what I mean? They didn't win the World Series. So it's all going to be about, do we think that they can win multiple, which with Juan Soto you should be able to. But this lineup's more than Juan Soto away, I think, from being a World Series winner. You know what I mean? They need to make another upgrade, probably in the infield, third base. Yeah. Move Jazz to second base where he was before. So yeah, that's 10 teams that they think are suitors for Juan Soto. Thank you very much for joining me here on today's podcast, The Scoop. You can make sure you find us anywhere at Century Baseball. Thank you very much for joining me. God bless. Enjoy the football. Use code Century17 on SeatGeek. I know I forgot to say that. Century17 on SeatGeek gets the code $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more. I'll see you in the next one. Watch baseball. Love you.